All right. Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Studio W, the Buzz, your global radio network. We circle this thing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with the finest of broadcasting aired anywhere around the globe. And now it's time for the Boomerang Radio Show. I, I'm William A. Brown. I see two of my co-hosts there. I see Mad Mike Ward from the Mad Mike and Wild Wheel Coast to Coast show, which is every Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to have a good time, listen to great music, a whole lot of fun, a lot of banter, and just hilarity, you want to check out Mad Mike and Wild Wheel Coast to Coast. It comes on at 5:15 p.m. on the West Coast, 8:15 p.m. on the East, and 7:15 Central Time. Now, welcome to the set again.
William, you're doubling with some other broadcasts, William.
Okay, let's see what's going on there. Okay, let's see what's happening here. We'll check it out. Nothing else should be playing.
Yeah, you're talking about the Coast to Coast show.
Yes.
That's how it's coming across on this.
Okay.
You can't hear that?
No, I can't hear anything but what I'm playing right now. Let's see what's going on. Okay. No, I don't hear anything else. Let's try something here.
Oh, I know. Never mind. It's me.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, moving right along. Hey,
No, I had the website open on another tab, so it was playing part of the website.
oh, okay.
My fault. My apologies.
No.
Hi, everyone.
No problem. Hi, Mike. Okay. Hey, Dr. Demery.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, loud and clear, my friend.
Great.
Loud and clear. Hey, guys, last week, Mike sent me a picture of him and you, Dr. Demery, when he visited you at church. Man, it made, I was smiling, man. I say, these two guys, two of my greatest friends, they had a chance to meet together, man. And Mike and I talked about it too. He said he enjoyed the visit, Dr. Demery, and even after service, he came and you guys sat and chat for a while.
Oh, yeah, it was wonderful. The church loved him. They're glad he was there. And, we accept everybody. We welcome everybody with open arms. So the church really liked Mike. Matter of fact, we were talking about him today. And Gary, you remember Gary? He came. So we had a good eclectic Easter Sunday.
Right. So Gary was there. Mike, you had a chance to meet Gary.
I did, and Dr. Demery, you made my Easter Sunday. Just being your church and your people there were so welcoming and just so hospitable. It just made my Sunday. It really did.
Well, great. I mean, I think that's what all churches are supposed to. Some don't, unfortunately, but I drive it into my congregation that we have to be like Christ, not only say what Christ said, but do what Christ did. And that means to be loving to our neighbors.
Right. I tell you, and you're right about that, both of you guys, and I can appreciate what you're saying. And, if you go to a church, you're supposed to feel better when you leave before you even got there. And all of us probably have been to a church. You said, what was that? In so many ways, and that's why, Dr. Demery, you and I, we've talked about this over the years, how the churches, the attendance in the churches have diminished greatly, and you wonder why. And people they aren't falling for this anymore. A lot of preachers get up there and they hoop and holler or say a bunch of gibberish and take the collection and pat you on the rear on the way out. I mean, this is crazy, absolutely crazy. And I tell you, there are so many people that are mocking the churches now. You have some of our politicians up there. They're using God in their when they're doing their rallies or they're giving their speeches and things like that. And then you look at how they act. And let's touch on that a little bit. There's an old saying that action speaks louder than words. I can tell you that I love you, but if I turn around and slap you in your face, I mean, what kind of love is that? Or I turn around and do something that is absolute opposite of what I'm preaching. Or if I get out and I do something to harm you. I mean, come on. And then you turn around and says, yeah, well, God, come on. And guess what? God is listening too. And Dr. Demery, what does he say about these false prophets?
Well, Paul refers to it many times in the pastoral epistles, and particularly in Corinthians and in Thessalonians, where they will be exposed and their deeds will follow them.
Absolutely. And Mike, it's one thing, like I said, to say, I love you and I respect you. But you listen, and I know you're careful, very, very careful listeners. And your memory is impeccable too. You remember a lot of things.
I
And
try.
how
It's getting
could
harder
people
all the time.
how tell me, Mike, in your opinion, how could people be so gullible or and allow themselves to be vulnerable to these charlatans? I don't understand it. And politicians are the worst. Where they give you a great speech or rah, rah, rah before they're elected, and when they get in, it is do the opposite. I want you
I,
to talk a little bit, Mike, about the importance of being genuine and being honest.
I'm going to quote one of my friends that used to cut meat at Alpha Beta. His name was Dwight Hunt, and he repeated a saying that his father and probably his grandfather would say to him, and he would say, "The masses are the asses." And what that's turned into today is we lack critical thinking skills. They're not taught in elementary school anymore. They're not taught in junior high or high school, or certainly not college. You are fed, you're spoon fed whatever it is they want you to believe and buy into, but they don't teach you to look at both sides of the argument or the three or four sides. If I showed up on a traffic accident when I was still working for the sheriff's department, I would get 4 or 5 different renditions of the same car accident.
Mm.
Oh, it was a blue car. It was a green car. No, it came this way. No, it came that way. No, it was a guy driving. It was a girl driving. So there's all these different perspectives. But again, going back to critical thinking skills, I don't think we're doing ourselves a favor by not teaching those skills and teaching you to go find out the facts for yourself. Don't buy into somebody being, oh, well, they got a nice space. They're a politician. He got elected. I should listen to the government. Oh, it's okay to listen to the government, but you know
Yeah.
what? Do your own due diligence and look at stuff and make sure that it passes the smell test,
Mm.
and do that on your own, independent of other people. Because again, I think the masses have been dumbed down. The masses are the asses now because they didn't have either good parents or good teaching in school, and that's kind of how I see it. I don't know, Dr. Demery, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I agree with you. It's kind of the old adage, if I can give a real quick analogy. It's like, we were always taught in homiletics never to preach someone else's sermon. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're
Mm.
listening and they preach other people's sermon instead of, like, for example, in the seminary I went to, we were taught to be independent thinkers. And I mean, it's a paradox in a sense that, we were taught they don't care what you believe as long as you can attempt to prove it biblically, scholarly, and in a
Articulate.
manner that is abiding with scholarly pursuits. And if you can't do that, then it's hard to really look at all sides of the discussion and all possible. We use a term in theology called hermeneutic, and it means that it has to align with the truth, and that
Mm.
is, very much consistent with and congruent with, thought, not necessarily popular thought, but as long it is congruent with, rational thinking.
Dr. Dimmer, again, is that word or that term hermoglyphic?
Hermeneutic.
Hermeneutics. Had never
Right.
heard it before.
As in harmony.
No. It actually means that it's
Mm.
similar to the word that
Hermeneutics.
used a lot called parable, parabole, and parable means to lay alongside the truth of the story. So a hermeneutic is something that a preacher develops that is alongside the truth and is consistent with what the truth is. Not something completely blown way out of context that has nothing to do with the story or the truth of the story.
Right. And Mike, I tell you, what infuriates me about today's education is you go, okay, let's pick any subject. You have, obviously, you have English, you have math, you have history, you might have biology, and so forth, or maybe even a foreign language. What really is disturbing to me is that, and if you start talking about history, and when we were going to school, if you wanted to graduate, you had to pass history. My problem with history today, the watered down version of history, it is not the truth. Yet I have to learn these falsehoods today and learn them and pass this course. That blows my mind. Is that I have to pass a course that's not even factual. What is your take on that, Mike?
That's a mess. Our educational system has been just watered down so much that it's a shame to even call it an education system, because it's a lot of it's just indoctrination and
Mm-hmm.
foolishness, and pushing a certain narrative rather than saying, here's the facts, whether you like them
Mm-hmm.
or not. This
Mm-hmm.
is what happened in our past. This is what happened in America. This is what happened around the world for the last thousands of years. This is why um, man steps on the neck of fellow man, and put it out there. Let people make up their own mind about what they believe is right and wrong, but at least give them the facts so they got something to work with, for crying out loud.
Exactly. And they're always crying about First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment. Yet, if you want to speak the truth today, Dr. Demery, they'll shut you down. They will shut you down for speaking. Well, okay, wait a minute, hold it. Do I have a freedom of speech or not? Okay. Can I speak or not? Am I in the United States or am I in Russia? Okay, or North Korea, or China, or one of these dictatorial or dictatorship or dictator states. That is something. So we need to um, hold ourselves accountable. I think that if we elect a leader, I don't care whether it's Republican or Democrat, if they make us a promise, then they better darn well hold on to it. Or as the masses of people, then we should call them out. We should flood their lines. Okay, you have access to their phone numbers. You're a senator or you're a congressman. Let's flood them out and tell them, and just tell them. I mean, it's not necessarily a threat. And you tell me, hey, look, this isn't a threat, but this is a fact. I voted for you this time, but I will not vote for you again. You keep this mess up, and you're out of here, buddy. You're out of here. And I don't care what it is. If you notice, Congress has a lower approval rating on most times than even your president, whether that president is popular or not.
Yep.
Your Senate and your Congress, it is absolutely just horrible. Dr. Sims, how are you?
I'm good today. How are you?
Great. We're doing great. All right. Well,
Beautiful.
welcome to the set.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, Dr. Demery, Mike and Dr. Sims, they decided to gang up on me the other night, but it
Oh,
didn't work.
please.
It didn't
Oh,
work.
wah, wah.
Yeah, they tried. They tried
This
to
is the
bully me.
smallest violin going. You ain't getting no bigger than that. What?
They
See,
Hi,
tried.
Dr.
Dr.
Sims,
J.
I told you, Dr. Sims, how sensitive he is.
Oh, please. He is not. You know what? He just can't. Let me tell you something. He dishes out a lot
Oh,
of
yes, I
stuff,
can
but
take
he
it too.
can't take it.
Oh,
No, you
that's not
can't.
true. That
You
is
start
not true.
whining like a baby.
I
Whatever.
Wham,
told you
wham,
guys to
wham,
bring it
Whatever.
on. Bring it
wham.
on. I'm not afraid of either
Oh,
one of you.
please. Please.
Yeah, Dr. Sims. On a serious note, what we're talking about are these people that's in Congress. Okay, and it can take anyone. They will when they out campaigning. Oh boy, they'll tell you, oh yeah, we've got. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to change that. I'm going to do this for you. And you don't have anything. Just vote for me.
Right.
Free everything. Everything's going
Right.
to be free.
Everything's free. Nobody get nothing at the end.
Yeah, really? Let's back up 1 second.
Uh,
That's not true. They
okay.
get things free.
Oh, they
Oh,
do. Of
oh,
course.
don't let me get on that right now. You think about this. The you go into Congress right now. If the four of us went to Congress right now and we were able to get elected, do you know we'll get a hefty $178,000 a year? And they'll take two. Matter of fact, they're on vacation again, aren't they? They won't be back
Yeah, they
until.
are. Yes,
Will
they
they be
are.
back this week?
I don't know. I can't keep up with them.
Well, what difference does it make? They do nothing when they get back.
If
I mean,
if they sent me to Congress, I'd have to take a lot of bleach so I can disinfect that whole cooler.
this
And
is
I'm gonna follow
absolutely
right
It'd
behind you and
take
put
me a
some
month
blessed
of
oil in
bleach just
every
to
seat. What?
disinfect.
this is, and do you know? And I tell you something else. They'll get in there, and I don't. Whatever you think about women's reproductive rights, that is your business. I think that women should have the right to choose for their bodies. The three of us guys on here, we have no idea what's going on in a woman's body. And
Absolutely.
so I don't need to be into that in that conversation. Okay. You let honest women professionals, whether they're doctors, whether they're politicians, whether they're legislators or whatever it is, and the women themselves, or let the women themselves and their doctors, as long as they're following the law, okay, let them be. I get tired of these crusty old dudes up there talking about no, women shouldn't have the right to have that pill, okay, or they shouldn't have the right, or it should be a 6 week ban on abortions. And it's my understanding, what I've read, is that a lot of times a woman may not even know in 6 weeks she may not know she's pregnant. Dr. Sim, you're going to
Okay.
test this more than I can,
Well, let
better
me
than I
tell you
can.
something. Here's a problem I'm having with that whole picture. It's just sanctioning sex everywhere. Okay, let's be real. Now, my theory is this: if there is a where it's going to affect one's health and the life of the baby and yourself, then I agree with that. I cannot agree with these. Go have sex. Go get a pill. Keep your legs closed. Okay, I said it. I'm gonna be real with this
No,
because
and
it, it's it's
I'm going to
it's
align
getting
myself
out
with
of
Dr. Sims
hand.
here.
It's to the point where it's getting so out of hand. We have adolescents having sex. We have children having sex who don't know what they're doing. And then too, you got a lot of these predators. Because see, it's a whole gamma of thing. A lot of these predators who are messing with young girls and getting them pregnant. Let's go get a pill and let's go get taken care of, because you have some pills that will abort the baby as well. I am not in agreement with that at all. I'm not, because you're putting your bodies into trauma. I'm a woman, okay? But if you're not capable at an adolescent age, you are definitely not capable of having a child. Some of the young adults definitely shouldn't have a child because they're immature. But what it is the world is putting stuff out there that is sanctioning promiscuity, um, incest, whatever. Okay. And people don't want to deal with those kinds of things. I'm only for the cause that if it's affecting the woman's health. Okay. My thing is this, it's free love. Everybody can just do what they want to do because they have a remedy now that can hide their sins. Period. I'm gonna go here, and I am not in agreement with this. I am not. I'm not in agreement for no old man putting pills out there so he can do what he want to do. I'm just doing the whole gamut. I am not in agreement with this. They need to shut their mouths because they have no idea the changes. Again, jumping on the health side of what a woman goes through, and you're going to sit there and dictate to me how I should generate my body. You're not going to do that. You are not. You're just a man. You're supplying a seed. You're doing a deed. You're not going to sit there and tell me what I'm going to do with my body. You're not going to sit there and invent things to abort. You are aborting life. I don't care what anybody say. You're
Right.
aborting life, and God is
Go,
not
Dr. Sims,
pleased
go.
with it. God is not pleased with it. The first time that heart beats, it is a life. People say, well, it's not born, it's living. It
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
a living being. And I cannot say that. My thing is, there is a prerequisite, even in the word of God, there is a prerequisite. And I cannot come away from it. If you're not ready for it, if you're not ready for marriage, abstain from it. Keep, listen,
Okay.
I don't know why
You
you
know, I
keep
agree
coming
with
back to
that.
me.
I agree with you saying if there is a heartbeat, you don't
It's
now,
life.
no, no. If there's a heartbeat, then that baby should not be destroyed. I totally agree with that. The point that I'm getting is now that pill that I'm speaking about, that abortion pill, is not out there that you can buy over the counter. These that's used to abort in case it needs to be aborted. Okay.
I
Now,
have to disagree with you. You
let me
can
finish.
buy it over the counter. Yes,
Let
you
me. No, you
can.
cannot.
Yes, you
You can get
No,
it.
you
can.
You can
cannot,
get it through
doctor.
the
Yes,
mail.
You
you
cannot
Get
can.
it
buy it
through the
over the
mail.
counter.
They advertise it on television, William.
I
You
don't
go
care.
to your
No, Dr.
pharmacy.
Sims,
Yes,
that
I
is
don't
not,
care what you
no,
say. It
that's a
is true.
prescribed drug that I'm talking about. You
No,
might be
it's
talking about
no.
something entirely different. You
It's
might
an
be,
abort pill.
Dr. Sims, now, I know what I'm talking about
Sorry.
on this subject. There might be some other things that you can buy over the counter, or I mean, not over the counter, but you can order through the mail. But that abortion pill that they're talking about cannot be bought over the counter.
Check
It
out your
has to.
pharmacy.
It
You can
has.
get it
No,
through the mail.
doctors,
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. Now, black
I've
market
seen the commercials, William, that you
let
could
me.
go in there.
I didn't interrupt you, Doctor
I'm
Sims.
sorry.
Okay,
Well,
let me
it's true
finish.
though.
Let me finish. You can jump in after I finish. Okay, I didn't interrupt you.
Okay, not a
Please,
problem.
And then when you're done, I got
will
something
you
to say
guys
too.
please, lady and
I've
gentlemen,
got something to say
will
too.
you,
I'll wait.
lady and gentlemen, will you
I'll wait.
please? You sound like a Republican now. Will you
Oh,
please stop
no, you
interrupting
didn't.
me? Yes,
No,
I did.
you didn't.
No, I
Well,
sound like a
if
human being.
you sound like a
No, I
A
Republican.
sound like
human being.
Oh no,
Cecilia.
you
I
do not.
sound like a
Now,
woman has a
women,
right
hold
to
it. What
speak.
I'm saying is, we on this program right
Really.
here, we deal with facts, and what you just said is not factual. Okay,
Okay,
you
we're gonna give
cannot
it to you,
buy that
Greg.
pill. Oh, you cannot buy that pill over the counter. That is a lie. That's a lie. That is not true. And I'm going to let Dr. Demery jump in a minute. Now, I agree. If you're going to use abortion as a form of birth control, you are dead wrong. That is
Yep.
wrong about that. Now, one thing about it, you mentioned adolescents and teens or whatever just having sex. No, they aren't having sex. Now, if they're doing it, well, hold it.
What
It's
world are
called
you
rape.
living
It's
in?
called, it's called rape. Okay,
No
because
way.
statutorily,
Oh
no,
my
I tell you
God.
what, statutorily, they cannot
No.
make it. No, well, so you talk to the government about this. What I'm saying is, I'm gonna go to Dr. Demery first or next. Okay, what I'm saying
Wow.
to you is, you take someone, and in most cases, have you guys ever heard of statutory rape?
Of course.
Yeah, of
Yep.
course, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. So, an adolescent is not having sex. An adolescent is not
The
doing it.
hell they're
They are
not.
being raped. There's
No.
a difference. Now,
No.
there's a sexual act, but it's not that they are in agreement of having sex. That's not the deal. Okay? They do not, they are the government, the way the laws are, is said they cannot make a decision on this because they are not adults. They are not old enough to do this. Look it up. I know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna
Okay.
reiterate again. If they are using ladies out here are using abortion as a way of a contraceptive, or in that sense, that is dead wrong. What I'm saying to you is, okay, in a lot of cases, a woman, based on what I understand, in 6 weeks, they may not know whether they are pregnant or not in 6 weeks. Now, it could be a health issue. And there are many, many states out here, okay, many states, especially Republicans, are saying, no, 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 6 weeks, that's it. And they're running on tickets or saying, no matter what the reason is, it could be the mother's life could be in jeopardy, the baby's life could be in jeopardy, the mother could die, and they says, no, you're going to have it anyway. The doctor says, look, this baby is not viable. There are cases after case after case after case after case right now that women's their internal organisms are failing because they are forced to carry a non-viable pregnancy.
That's a
Dr.
very small
Demery,
minority, William.
Dr.
Very small
Demery,
minority.
say that again, Mike.
It's a very small minority.
No,
that
it's
fit
not.
into that
Well, guess
category.
what?
Yes,
Well,
it is
guess
too.
what? Mike, hold on. Again, oh, because it's only so only 1,000 people going to die versus 1,000,000. A life is a life. If you're pro-life, be pro-life. Be the pro that mother's life as well as that baby's life. It's not a very small. I don't care if it's 15. That woman should not have to suffer for the rest of her life because some knucklehead up in D.C. decided to, no, you can't do that. Some gray-haired, musty old dude gonna tell this woman what to do with her body. That is a shame. Dr. Dimmery, I need your take on this.
Well, I would say very quickly, it's not a matter of taking a person's side or agreeing with someone's opinion. It's about the facts. And that's what William has always tried to do on this show. Now, whether you want to disagree with him or not, you can do that. That pill is prescribed by a physician. Now, let me say something. I agree with Dr. Sims, and maybe what Mike is saying is that you can buy those things on the black market. That is
That's
illegal.
true.
But in order to get that abortion pill, you have to get a prescription from a physician. Now, that's just the facts. Now, you can agree with that. You can argue with us about the facts all you want. The facts are the facts. Now, we know that you can buy just about anything you want on black market. You can buy ghost guns and all that kind of stuff. Mike knows that. People that aren't supposed to have guns can get guns. People that aren't supposed to have certain kinds of things can get it if they want it bad enough and are willing to pay enough money. But the facts are the facts. So that's my take on it.
That's my take also. I agreed with Mike. Yeah, you can get it on the black market, no question, but you can get anything on the black market. What I don't agree with what Dr. Sims was saying is that you cannot buy it over the counter. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. So,
Okay, what can I?
hold on, let me finish. No, so what I'm saying is, like Dr. Dimmery pointed this out, guys. I don't care what your opinion is. What your opinion is definitely your opinion, but the facts, like Dr. Dimmery says, are the facts. Let's go on the facts. I don't want to. I don't want to go on feelings. I don't want to go on opinions because we are trying to disseminate the best information we can for our audience. Okay, so we're not going to go. We're not going to be one of these major networks that just spew out anything because that host or co-host has an opinion. Okay, I want to deal with the facts, and if it's not a fact, I'm going to call it out. Mike, your take.
Okay. Dr. Sims, do you want to go first or you want me to? Because I got a lot to say.
You go ahead. I'm getting my data. I'm getting my data.
I'm going to back up Dr. Sims here. And what you said, William, I completely agree with that. Abortion should not be used as a form of birth control, and that's my biggest issue with this is that people just are so lazy. There's 40 different kinds of birth control, for crying out loud. Use one or abstain. So there's people are way too lazy. And what they do is like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to have sex. And you got two 16-year-olds or 15-year-olds having sex. And it's like, it's hardly rape, although they're not of age of consent. I agree. They're not of age of consent, but still 14, 15 and 16-year-olds have sex. That's a fact. The abortion mifepristone or whatever it's called, that you do require a prescription to get it, but you can get a prescription over the internet and get it mailed to your house. So it is readily available, not even including the black market, but you can get it. They're trying to, as I understand it, they're trying to make it over the counter. But as far as I know, it's not over the counter yet. But again, I've got to go back to, there's so many different kinds of birth control that doesn't create a baby. And for someone to say, once God has created that baby in the woman's womb, that's a baby with its own DNA. And there's a saying that's done in marriage, and Dr. Demery can bear me out on this, but whatever God has created, let no man put asunder. And it's usually referred to in marriage. But I would say the same thing extrapolates to the baby that he's put into a female womb. That is a baby. When somebody, they go, look, you're pregnant. When's the baby due? They don't say when's the fetus due. No, it's a baby with its own DNA. and for mankind to kill off that child, that baby, without a good purpose is beyond me. Now, if you want to get into the mother's health, excuse me, I got to adjust my earphones here. If you want to get into the mother's health, or the fetus is not going to be viable or something like it, absolutely, I have no problem with that. But you can't tell me the vast majority of these abortions aren't with a viable baby, not a fetus, a viable baby. The vast majority of abortions are viable. You can't tell me that all these are, the mom's health is at risk, or the baby's at risk, or it's going to be stillborn. No. 98% of these abortions are abortions where the fetus is viable. And for man to kill off what God has created, I've got a huge problem with that. Dr.
Where did you get 98% from? Where did you get 98%? We don't.
Common sense.
No. That's an
you're
opinion.
telling me all these abortions are because the mother's at risk.
I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all of them.
What is the
all I'm
percentage?
saying is, what is the percentage? Okay, you said that's your opinion, but again, we go on facts here. We go on facts, and so
Okay,
I don't know. I don't know
I
what.
would say look it up, William.
I don't know what this 98%. I doubt it.
300,000. There's 300,000 abortions that occur in America every year. You're going
And
to
you
tell me that
saying
all
that-
those. You're going to tell me that all those mothers were at risk.
I didn't say
those
all.
babies were at risk.
I didn't say
can't
all,
say
but
that.
also I didn't say that 98% are would let's use the term illegitimate reasons. I'm not saying that. I just don't know what the percentage is. If it's 98%, show me that. It could be 50,
I'm
60,
just
70,
applying
80.
common sense.
I don't know. Well,
Everybody that I know, everybody that I personally know that got an abortion, they didn't get an abortion because the baby or the mother was at risk. They got an abortion out of convenience.
okay. And that percentage of women that you know that had that
I'll
done,
look it up.
was it 100? Was it 1,000? Was it 10? Was it 20? Because see, that's a small snapshot that you talk about when you talk about 300 million people here in the United States. All I'm saying to you, both of you, okay? And I'm specifically addressing you and Dr. Sims right now because of the points that you're making. Now, and we can disagree all we want, and that's fine. But all I'm saying is, bring me the facts. If you can
Fact
bring up
is-
something, if you can bring me a fact that says, you guys, hey, there's ways to fact check this right now if you want to. You got both of you guys have.
Dr.
I
Sims is
got it
already
right
on it.
here.
Let her go.
I got
Okay.
it.
Let
All
Dr.
right.
Sims
Oh,
speak.
okay.
got it.
What percentage
Okay.
is it, Dr. Sim?
Let me okay, first let me backtrack a little minute, because this is a heated discussion. I would never go through anything like this, but I also know with the people that I deal with, and I stand on what I say: freely sex, freely do whatever you want to do and abort the baby because you don't want the responsibility. My thing is this: is that the medication I was referring to is the ones that after they have sex and they think they might get pregnant, there isn't a over-the-counter medication that you can get.
That's
as a
right, and that's
preventative
after the
measure.
morning.
Okay,
And
I'm getting ready to go. Let me
Plan
finish.
B.
I'm getting
that's
ready
the
to go.
after. That's after
After you
morning
have
pill.
sex,
That's
and here's the
exactly right.
deal.
So
But
nothing really has taken place. You don't even have
okay,
a
William,
formulation
you
right
William,
there.
want me
William.
to talk, please?
Let her go.
Okay.
I looked it up, and it is an over-the-counter, and that's what I was alluding to.
Yep.
Plan
But
B.
There's
that's
another
entirely
one.
different
Hang
thing.
on a second. There's another one that you can also go after you have sex, and say if you're 1 or 2 months pregnant, you can take an abort pill, and that's something that they just really just put on the market. It's not black market either. These people are finding doctors online who will initially give them these pills, and it says between 95 to 98% of women who are seeking after this. I have this, and it's a is a medication abortion effective, and it says between 95 and 98%. And I know that's the percentile that they're giving. It said 2 to 5% of women taking medication abortion will require additional intervention. However, these women are going to the doctor after the fact. Say they find out that they're 1 month pregnant or 2 months pregnant. They are seeking out these doctors to kill the baby
It's
because
not a baby
they are,
in 1 month.
Yes, it is.
as
No, it
long
is
as it
not.
has
At
a,
conception.
it is
you've
not.
never
At
had a baby, so you
conception.
don't know how it's
No,
forming
At
and
when it came out
conception,
womb.
it's a
no, that is
baby
not
with its
a
own
baby after
DNA.
1. Well, look
What
at
is it?
what
It's
what
a
does the
baby.
expert what does the expert say about when a baby is formulated? I'm gonna after you and after you, Dr. Sims, then I'm gonna
At
go to Dr. Cameron.
conception.
The
That is
baby
not
is
that not
formed
in
from
1 month. No.
At conception. God created that baby
No,
with a
no, Mike,
separate
not at
DNA.
conception. No,
I'm not going to
Separate
excuse
DNA.
abortions
that
without
is
a
not
Separate
cause.
true.
I'm
DNA.
just not going to do it.
That is not
I'm not
true.
going to excuse abortions without a cause because you had free sex, and I don't care what
No,
anybody says.
I don't agree with
I
that.
said I'm not going to excuse anybody that has sex, and they're able to go and get an abortion and kill the fetus, the baby, the ones that has the heartbeat. Come on now, and just say it's a-okay. Then that leaves the person a door out to go and just do whatever they want with whoever they want and go and get an abortion. That is unlawful and ungodly. I don't care what you say,
No. They
William.
did not say
It
that
is
if it has a
ungodly.
heartbeat. Did not women hold. Did not say if it has a heartbeat,
You
then I
didn't
think
say
you have a
when.
problem. I
You didn't
said
say
that.
when.
Yes,
You
I
didn't
said that.
when.
I
When.
said that earlier. If you were listening.
I was don't get testy.
No, hold.
When?
I did say if it had a heartbeat. I said if it
Because
had.
I brought up the heartbeat.
I said that.
Okay,
I
thank
said
you.
that 7,
Calm
8, 10
down.
minutes ago.
Calm
Okay,
I
down.
don't care about the
Maybe
heartbeat.
Dr. Dimmer heard it because you and Mike
Once God has created
maybe
them,
you and Mike were talking over me. I said if
No,
the
no,
baby,
we were
I said
not.
yes,
so
you were.
let us
I
get in
said
there.
I said if that fetus has a
Hallelujah.
heartbeat, I said
Boom.
I agree with you and Mike,
I
Dr.
heard
Stell.
that. Yes, I heard that.
I said that. That's exactly what I'm saying.
You
And I
agreed with me.
also
I heard
said
that.
I don't think that you should be using abortion
You
as
did. You
okay.
did.
I said
You
that.
did say that. I agree.
Okay, but what I'm saying also, Dr. Sims, you brought up the after the morning pill. A man had sex that night, and she takes a pill that next morning.
They have them.
That's Plan
Sure,
B.
and nothing wrong with that because nothing has been formulated. Nothing
Well,
has,
yeah,
nothing's cooking right there.
but
Okay,
they give them a
that's no
I
time
different.
know.
frame. They
There's
give
no
them a
I
difference.
time
know.
frame.
That's no difference than birth control. That is just a post.
Oh no, 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 no,
That's a
no,
post birth control
I'm
pill.
done with this
You
conversation.
had sex one night.
no.
See, this is where it gets off the rails as far as I'm concerned. You guys are saying a woman has sex that night, and the next morning she takes a pill.
I
She's
didn't
killing
say
the baby.
that.
That
I
is
didn't say that.
because that flies in the face of just craziness, and because I'm gonna tell you why. Because a lot of people have sex, unprotected sex, and they don't have. And she's not pregnant. They don't get pregnant.
It
Okay.
shouldn't be lawful to do
Well,
that according to the
well, you
scriptures.
can't tell two consenting adults what to do. You cannot
God
do that.
can.
My point
God can.
is, if you have sex one night and you take a pill the next morning, all you're killing is the sperm. Is that
There's
a
a
No,
baby?
time frame,
no.
William.
You've
There's a
No,
time
possibly been
frame.
absolutely
killing.
not. That is
You've
absolutely that's a
possibly.
ridiculous argument to
You've
make.
possibly been killing a child because
Possibly,
once that egg
Mike.
is fertilized, once
Well,
that egg is fertilized,
Mike, you don't know whether that egg is fertilized or not. What she's
not at that
guess
point you
what?
don't, but you possibly could be killing off whatever the fetus is.
Mike. That really doesn't make any sense at all.
Of course it
You have
does.
sex last night, and the woman takes the pill this morning. No, absolutely not. You cannot say that is a viable
Why
living.
didn't they use proper birth control to begin with or abstain?
What's it
Use proper
different?
birth control. Don't do this after the fact.
No, why not? You did it before or the next day. That is a ridiculous argument to make. Doctor Dimmer, jump in there.
Well,
Whatever side.
I would say this very briefly, and I'll let the rest of you guys continue to discuss. When I do counseling with a young woman or young man, vice versa, whether they're single, they're in a relationship, and they are considering or have had post, pre, and whatever sex, I always counsel them be very careful. And always, if you're going to call yourself a child of God, and if you're going to live a godly life, then you have to do that. You have to follow a moral, ethical, spiritual code. I can sit here and quote all kinds of scripture that will back up what I'm saying. Here's what I do. I've had, and I can mention this because this was years and years ago when I was a Navy chaplain. I had a young lady that came to me who the man that she was in a relationship was mean to her, and she didn't want him to be the father, and they weren't going to
Wow.
get married. She was pregnant. She was considering having a divorce. This was my advice to her. I said, don't blame that growth inside of you that God has created to
Mm-hmm.
be the brunt of your frustration. You
Mm-hmm.
made a mistake. You did something you probably should not have done by having premarital sex and all that kind of stuff. Do not allow that gift that God has given you to be the brunt of your frustration
Yes.
because you're mad at the dad. Now, what ended up happening was she did not get an abortion, not because of what I said, because I allowed her to make the decision for herself. All I did was stand beside her to
Mhm.
make a proper decision based upon the facts that she had given me and the facts that she had. And unfortunately, we're dealing with moral, ethical issues. And there's no law in this land, in this Constitution, that states that you have to have or not have premarital sex and you can be, subject to the laws of the land because there is no law. Now, there are, unfortunately, because we were in the military at the time, the UCMJ does have laws that you cannot cheat on your wife. Doesn't say that you can't
Oh,
have
yes.
premarital sex. Now, when you have that kind of power, I think that God gives us, in a sense, depending on your point of view, the gift of life. We have the gift of life. Now, if we sit down and we have um, sexual interaction with a woman, Mike, you, myself, um, William, and even Dr. Sims has an opinion on this, I'm sure. We have to be careful because when we are childbearing age, we have to be careful that if the possibility is when you have sex, you can get pregnant. So
Mhm.
they always put the responsibility on the woman, but the
Always.
responsibility always has to be put on the male as well. A
Both.
male has to take responsibility for the fact that they need to be wearing protection. They're experimenting now with a male contraception that they can take a pill
Mhm.
that will help make them infertile during the time of sexual intercourse. So I think we have to balance out to the fact that it's not always on the woman. Don't dump all this stuff. Well, it's the woman, it's on her, and this and that and the other. No, both parties have to be very responsible in their decision making process. So in the future, I told her, because she came back to me, I said, now, unfortunately, you learned a very difficult lesson that you should not have premarital sex
Mhm.
unless you're married and you plan on having a child. Because the possibility when you're at childbearing age is that you can get pregnant. Now, your male partner should have as much responsibility as you do.
Yep.
So, my advice to all women that I get a chance to counsel, and men as well, be responsible. Do not be irresponsible because Mike has heard of this term before, and all of us have. It's like playing Russian roulette,
Ah.
putting a round in the chamber of that gun, not an automatic. You have to have a revolver. Spinning that cylinder and putting that gun to your head and pulling the trigger and hoping that round does not go off. Well, it's the same thing.
That's
And so
right.
you can't blame the fetus. Now, here's one other quick thing I interject, and then I'll be done. We have to look at the science. Like William says, we have to look at the facts. Now, science has told us up to this point, and this was the latest research that I looked at, that child does not become a baby until there is brain function. And that's generally right around the
When
time
does the
that the
brain
heartbeat.
function
Now,
in a baby?
Disagree.
some people may say that, well, soon as the sperm unites with the egg and there's mitosis and mitosis, and that egg begins to separate, that's life. Well, I mean, if that's where you are with that, that's fine, and I respect your opinion. But science has said, now this is science. Now, don't get mad at me. I'm just a messenger. That until there is brain function, until there is brain
Hmm.
function,
Hmm.
that is not, it is still a fetus. It is not a baby. You know, you can give it a name all you want. Well, that's Johnny or Lucy or whoever you want, but it is not technically a child. It is not technically a baby. Now, that's my opinion on it. Now,
Respectfully, I disagree.
You can take the facts and go wherever you want. You can disagree with the science all you want, just like you got a lot of people out there that disagree with global warming, you know, and they try to come up with their facts and the other people come up with their facts, but the science is the science, you know. Now, whether you respect science or not is another thing. I think that you have to be very responsible to put the spiritual element in this and be responsible. My daughter, I have a daughter, and I would always tell her, do not sit down and have sex with someone unless you're planning on having a baby. And my daughter was always, listened to me to the point where she understood that. I mean, she didn't make me a grandfather early on. But the point, I think, that all men who have daughters and mothers who have daughters and men as well, we need to teach our sons and our daughters to be very responsible, because it is like playing Russian roulette. You cannot bring a life into this world and then say, okay, well, it's the child's fault. It ain't the child's fault.
It is not.
It's your fault because you made the mistake knowing full well that you could be
ramifications.
A giver of life. And that is a gift from God. And if you bastardize that gift from God, you are just slapping God in the face and saying, well, you know what, God, thank you for giving me this gift, but I'm going to do what I want to do.
Right. You know, I tell you what, well said. And then, Mike, you're next. I just want to say,
my question is really quick. And Dr. Demery, I appreciate your point of view. And I heard what you were saying about brain function and all that. So I have a question for you. If at the point of conception, that fetus has its own DNA, regardless of brain function, is that not a child of God? When it has its own DNA, separate DNA, I don't care about brain function or heartbeat or any of that. God has made that fetus, or God has allowed us to create that fetus. That it's once it has its own DNA, that's a baby. I don't care if it has brain function or heart function or anything like that. Mike, that's my question, sir. Yeah, no, please.
Real quickly, and then it's Dr. Sims' turn. Listen to me real quickly. The science of mitosis, which is cell division, and DNA doesn't occur till way after that. Now, I'm not a scientist, and I can't get into the specifics of the scientists. We'd have to talk to a biologist or a physician that can describe it a lot better than I can. But I do know this, that I've listened to physicians talk about it. DNA does not occur till much later. DNA occurs in the mitochondria, and the mitochondria hasn't even been developed yet, long after cell mutation. That's all I can say. And that's the science. That's the facts. So, I mean, I respect your opinion in terms of, if you think that is a baby, that is life, when the sperm enters the egg and cell division starts. If you think that's a baby, well, I mean, that's your opinion.
I do.
I respect that. But that's not good science. That's not good science.
Right. And, you know, and again, we want to go on facts, not opinions. Because now you can say, this is my opinion, which I absolutely respect, Mike. Never going to stop anyone. Never going to stop anyone for their opinion. But let's say, and let's be honest with the, not that you're not an honest person, or Dr. Sims or Dr. Jimmy, or any of us not honest people. But what I'm saying is, let's clarify for the audience. If we have an opinion, let's say, this is my opinion. I don't have any factual information to back it up. This is my opinion. Because again, I do not want to mislead our audience and says, okay, well, Mike says it. Now, because Mike, everybody, you've been on many, many shows with me, so has Dr. Sims and obviously Dr. Demery. And people love you guys. And you know why they love you guys? Is because you speak your mind. Okay. You are honest in your approach. My point is, if it's factual, say, look, I've looked this up. I've researched this, okay? But this is my opinion on this, okay? And again, I'm not going to entertain, and I would vehemently disagree with that at the point of conception. Okay, you've got
That's life.
a living organism. No,
That's life.
no, it's not.
At forty
It,
conception,
like,
Can I give you all a little? Can I give you
like,
some
my
information?
like,
opinion, and my belief is at conception, God has created a baby, and I don't care if it's got brain function or heart function at all. At conception, that is a
Can
baby,
I
and
can
that's
I give
my
you
opinion.
some data?
That's my
and I
opinion.
respect your opinion.
I know you do.
I'm
I
a
know you do.
vehemently disagree with you, Doctor
And
Sims.
can I give you
Yes,
some data?
please.
Well, all I know is God's business. Okay, whether we understand it or not, men are still trying to decipher how births are happening. Scientists are doing the same. Even though they feel like they're as knowledgeable they are, there is still a mystery part of it. Okay, how this is happening. I know they have data. Now, I looked up the beginning of the brain function, and it's between 6 to 7 weeks
There you go.
after the 6 to 7 weeks. However, you have some people who are aborting even at that time. And see, this is where the problem that I'm having is that not so much as when this is happening, when this is happening. I'm getting ready to look up when the heart starts beating. My thing is this: if you know that there's a pregnancy involved, okay, it's God's business. It's something that God has blessed you with. Now, my problem that I'm having is that people want to abort while they live sexually free. That's a problem that I'm having because the word of God tells us to abstain from it. We have to look at the word fornication. We have to look at the word adultery. Fornication is when you're having sex outside of marriage. It is what it is. And I cannot get away from it. It is written. I can't sway away from that. Now, did I make mistakes in my life? Let me put myself in there. You know I did. I know you may not know I did, but I did.
We all
Okay,
did.
because I wasn't knowledgeable of what God required in my life. The world is too free now, too freaky too. Now, I'm just be real. It's out there. It's like a free for all. And that is not godly design. I don't care what anybody says. Now, when I looked up the fetuses and the stages of the fetuses, okay? And I still stand on man is still trying to decipher, even though they have studied, they're still trying to decipher the magnificence of God in creating this human being. And so, my clause is this: I'm not going to sit around and argue and say who should do this and who should not do this. Because my thing is that God gives a life, and I understand the dangers of some who've had dangerous women in their bodies and who had to carry babies at when the fetus is dead. I think that is inhumane. That's I think is inhumane.
Yes.
Period. Okay, and that should be a no-no. But some of our sick doctors, male doctors, told them to go ahead and carry it. Okay. And so I've got an issue all the way around. My thing is this: let's just abstain. Yeah, we are flesh. God is divine. And he tells us what to do. And it is up to us to make those choices. Dr. Dimmer, I believe you said something like we have to make those choices. And guess what? The consequences of those choices, we have to, we have to come clean with. We made the choice. God always gave us a choice to do good or to do evil. We made those choices. God's established the laws for us, okay, to abide by. Now, the choice that we walk away from what God established, that's on you, boo boo. So you're going to suffer the consequences. And guess what? There might be a baby involved. Okay, but you're going to have to. What I'm looking at the irresponsibility of many who are having these babies and not taking care of these children, allowing systems to take care. And I know I might be going another direction, but all of this can be preventive if people would not yield into temptation. That is the word
Whoa.
of God too, as well. Not yielding to temptation, because yielding is sin. It is what it is. Okay, having sex outside of marriage, that's sin, folks. If God were to catch you in the act, come on. If you don't repent, let's just go the whole gamut. I am not going to sanction something that God tells us to abstain from. Yes, he's a merciful God. He really, really is. He knows that we are subject to fall. He knows that. But in that falling, if the outcome is a child, don't abort the child. I'm looking at the abortion medication. Some of them aborting them at 2 months, and some of them aborting them at 1 month, knowing that they are pregnant. Okay. So that's the issue that I have. I think society has made it so easy for you to abort a life. I don't appreciate that at all. I never will appreciate it. My thing is, you don't want a baby, there's medicine out there for you not to get pregnant. Just
Don't have sex.
yeah, don't, and that too, don't have sex. But you have people who are, some are weaker than others, and I get it. I get it. You have some people who have been raped, who were impregnated through rape.
Yeah,
Okay,
but don't punish the baby.
no, no, no. Oh, heavens, no. Don't punish the child, but there's so many who do. So many who do that because they look at the child and say it's the child. But my thing is this is I believe that if a person in through rape is not and find out she's maybe 2 months down the line, and I have to pray about that um because that works on a person's psyche. It
Yes.
really does. It works on their mental, and
It's a
someone
bad situation all
mental
the way around.
instate. Yeah, it's very, very bad. You have children who, young girls, 10 and 11 years old, who are impregnated by their abusers. And then they make them have the baby. Why? That's the issue. That's the part where there's a thin line. Okay, to me, a thin line. But I'm talking about these charlatans out there just having sex because it's a party. Oh, you understand? That's why I have a problem because now they are taking advantage. They're taking advantage and they are not taking responsibility for the deeds that they've done in this body when God tells us to abstain. Yeah, if you get yourself together, get your mind together, and hold what you need to hold until you get married. And it sounds simple, and it can be simple. It's a mindset, period. Okay.
It's
So my thing,
convenient.
yeah,
It's,
and yeah, they've made it convenient, very, very much so convenient out there. And anything, and it's just not having sex. It's a whole lot of stuff that people are making convenient. Hi, Emma, I see you. God bless you. I know this is William's sister, but they make it convenient to like it's a party. I mean, they some people have parties just because they know this kind of stuff is going to go on. How come everybody's closing their picture on me? What's going on here? Okay.
oh, I'm here. I'm here. Don't worry.
Okay. But my thing is this is just we have to look at it. Does it bother me with this stuff going on? It does immensely bothers me. One of the things I had to talk with my children because there's a point in time where curiosity comes with the male child and a female child. In fact, my brother and sister, I saw them because they know their genitals look different. We grown here. Let's talk about it. Uh, okay, because there's some kids can tell me about sex. All right, better than I could tell you. All right, the way the school systems are teaching stuff so vile and vulgar. But my thing is this: I had to stop my brother and sister because they were experimenting with touch. Okay. And that's how it starts. Okay. The curiosity of touch. I know we're talking about grown folk, but you have to go to the point where it starts. You have to tell them, no, 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 you can't do this. This is your sister. This is your brother. And you have people who have incested families who are having babies, y'all. Go to Britain, their whole family gamma is incest, cousins and sisters and stuff like that. That doesn't mean it's right because they want to keep purity, so they say, in their families. But I'm like I said, it's a whole gamut of things where people are sanctioning their behavior. And you cannot sing because it causes mental duress. It causes people who are born with handicaps, all kind of things. But my thing is this: there is a brain that forms between 6 to 7 weeks. Weeks, people. That's not even a whole month. No, it is a month. I'm sorry. It is a month, going on 2 months. But my thing is this: if you're not responsible, William, I think you said it, get you some preventative measures, okay? But my thing, and Dr. Demery said it best when he says counseling, and I've counseled, okay? To abstain from it and to relieve yourself of this mental stress, wait till you get married, babies, okay? It is what it is. It's no sense in you playing mama and you're not capable of being a mother. Okay. That's my theory. Because people, one of the things, and I'll share this now, be quiet. One of my sisters, there was a group of girls telling, girl, you haven't had a baby yet. These are teenage girls.
Mm.
You haven't had a baby yet. Well, you're not in the in crowd. There's a pressure movement going on as well. And she said, no, I haven't had a baby. What did she do? She went out and got pregnant. Come on now. And
That's
guess
too
what? The
much.
responsibility was on the parent. Well, she made that conscious decision through to bullying and pressure. So there's a whole gamut of things that we are not covering. Okay. Not that people are just getting, there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on that we as counselors and even pastors and people, talking about it, we need to address the whole ball and wax, not just when they can have an abortion, not that just why they're having abortion, what led them to the process in the first place. That has always been my way of thinking.
Mhm.
Okay. What made you do what you do? Did you just get horny and you couldn't control yourself? What's up? Okay. Maybe you should keep yourself out of that arena and don't say, oh, God's going to forgive me. Yeah, he will. But there's going to be a time his mercy is going to run out because you're doing things intentionally. Okay. In hopes of this medicine is going to make you walk away free. So
Right.
my mindset of thinking is and I'm not saying all of you, but that's the way I roll in my mind
Mhm.
because I have a spirit of, oh my God, I get embarrassed when things are not right within me and when I am projecting, and especially talking with the people of God as a minister of the Lord. I can't do what I want to do. And don't make me go to the church, William, because I will. There's a whole bunch of stuff going up in there that they sanctioning. Okay, I'll leave it alone.
We're going to talk about that now.
Oh,
Now, one
see,
thing, and then one thing that I want to say, when yes, children experiment, but think about what you said in the context that you said it.
Mhm.
They don't. Children do not have the maturity of
Yes,
an adult, so you
exactly.
really can't say blame it on the child. You need to blame it on the parent that says they need to
Yes,
teach their children at an early age because see, parents have abstained from talking to their children. Oh,
agreed.
they're too young to know that they too. But no, they experiment at a young age, so we
Mhm.
cannot blame them because their brains really haven't developed
Agreed.
to the
Agreed.
point.
I agree with you.
Because, like you said, all of us have made mistakes. Everybody on this panel has made a mistake. Everybody.
Oh,
I
wait a
don't know
minute.
what that mistake
Wait, wait,
is.
wait, wait. Let me find my halo.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I got a
okay.
halo here somewhere.
Mike, we don't have that much time. We really don't. Okay. But the point that I'm making, as children,
Oh, that's
okay,
funny.
even in the same household, because one thing, our bodies are uniquely designed, and
Yes.
that's what God has installed feelings, emotions. Okay.
Mhm.
Say, yeah, children experiment. Yes, you touch something on somebody's body. If you pinch them, they're gonna have a
Of
reaction.
course, of
You
course.
touch them in the right place, there's gonna be a reaction. So I'm not gonna blame that on the children as much as I will the
Mhm.
parents for not teaching them at an early age, and that is a fallacy of parenting. Sometimes you need to teach your children things that is going to affect or warn them against things that could affect their lives. My mom
Yes.
told me a long time ago, she says, look, all right, if you go to jail, you're gonna stay there.
Mine said the same thing. they,
Okay.
they told me, get
You know,
comfortable because you're going to be there a while.
and I'm not putting no money on your books either now,
That's
William.
right. And say at that time, what I grew up with and hearing, all they gonna feed you is bread and water. I said,
Ooh.
"Wait, hold it. Where's the peanut butter and the jelly and the, I mean, come on, the Cheerios. I don't get no Cheerios. I don't get no Cheerios. No, oh, it doesn't happen there. But hey,
Man.
guys, we're gonna move on. What a riveting conversation. I love doing this, and because we're talking about things that affect everyone. All right, we're gonna come back to this. I have something. Fun I want to share with you guys here. Let's do this. Okay. Oh, nope. I don't want to do it
Oh,
that way.
William's going
Let me
off
go
the
back.
rails here. I can see it already.
Yep, off the
In
reels,
his
off
big
the
chair,
reels.
he's
No,
going
I'm
to be
gonna.
pushing his big buttons.
Yeah, don't
Wow.
worry about my buttons.
He's
All
off
right.
the rails.
You all are
Hey,
brothers for
oh
real.
my God, I love you too, Mike. All right.
Yeah, I tolerate you.
You have no choice. All right.
talking about this morning, former president turned Bible salesman.
All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible. We must make America pray again.
I agree.
Make America pray again. After launching sneaker and cologne lines last month, the former president, okay, so he's selling, this is, get this, the God Bless the USA Bible. That's in partnership with country singer Lee Greenwood. He takes the stage to Greenwood's music. It's only $59.99. And just for that, you get a copy of the Constitution, a copy of the Bill of Rights, a copy of the Pledge of Allegiance, and the Declaration of Independence, as well as the Bible, I guess. Just a reminder, this is the man who once said this.
2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ball game. Where the Spirit of the Lord, right? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty.
Jonah, can you please remind me what is 2 Corinthians?
Well, actually, my favorite example of this, when he was asked what his favorite Bible verse was, he was like, well, first of all, there's so many. I couldn't pick just one.
So many
and
Bible
then he
verses.
settled on an eye for an eye. Which I just thought was so great. Look, I mean, in fairness, I think a lot of people who really passionately dislike Trump are praying again, too, given the state of things.
Welcome to What Was That? I'm Gabe Sanchez. Donald Trump, the criminally indicted, twice divorced, sexually assaulting ex-president, has a new grift, and this time it involves hawking $60 Bibles during Holy Week. Is it just, or does it feel like we're living in the
Twilight Zone?
So Donald Trump has decided that his latest con would be the Bible. On the Twitter knockoff Truth Social, Trump posted, "Happy Holy Week, let's make America pray again. As we lead into Good Friday and Easter, I encourage you to get a copy of the God Bless the USA Bible." Now, this isn't just any Bible, but a Bible done in partnership with Lee Greenwood, the country singer you've never heard of. I mean, his music career is going so well that he's posting videos on Facebook of packing up these Bibles.
Hi, this is Lee Greenwood, and as you see, we're doing our very best to sign all these Bibles that have been requested and get them out to me before Christmas. God bless you all. Have a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday.
Don't worry, he says he got them ready to be shipped off.
Well, it's 12:30 in the morning, and these are going to the post office right now. Shipping our Bibles to you. Merry Christmas.
The whole thing is giving me Etsy vibes, but much worse and cheaper. But also, I'm surprised that Lee Greenwood even shipped those Bibles out. I mean, just take a look at all these negative reviews. I would give 0 stars if I could. The customer service is terrible and far from Christian. They do not stand behind their product and do not care about their customer one bit. Over the years, we've seen Trump try to hawk tons of failed products, from water to steak to board games. The list is endless. Now, we all know that Donald Trump is not rich, and he's definitely not a billionaire.
It is a reminder, however, of how fraudulent all the claims about his wealth are. These are not the actions of very wealthy people. Very wealthy people are living on the interest upon the interest of their municipal bonds. They do not need to go on TV and sell Bibles to credulous supporters. By the way, the Bible, of course, is available in almost every translation you could want for free online. You can read it every day for nothing.
Over the last 2 years, Trump has been so desperate for money that he grifted his followers into buying his scammy NFT cards with Photoshop images of him. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Tell me you're insecure without telling me you're insecure. The senile 77-year-old rapist will go first. And then, in the latest edition of his knockoff Pokemon cards, Trump was selling pieces of what he called his mugshot suit.
47 all-new stunning cards, and here is the best part. I'm doing 2 important things for my Trump collectors. For the first time, we're creating a real physical Trump card. Purchase 47 digital cards, and we'll mail you a beautiful trading card. It is an authentic piece of the suit I wore when I took that now famous mugshot, and it was a great suit, believe me, a really good suit. It's all cut up, and you're going to get a piece of it.
In case I needed to point this out, this is not normal behavior of a successful businessman, let alone a presidential candidate who brags about being a billionaire. And before the Bible grift, Trump started selling gold spray painted sneakers for $399, another pair of shoes for $199, as well as cologne and perfume for $99, which have not been made yet, let alone in the USA. But hey, Republicans are all about America first, right? While the orange idiot is only focused on Trump first, President Biden is actually focused on putting America first.
And I think a message of Donald Trump scammed you. He defrauded you. He stole your money to pay for his own ritzy lifestyle. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is investing in your communities with the CHIPS Act and with the Infrastructure Act. I think that'd be at least a fun message to put on Fox and Newsmax to shake the tree a little bit. And I think that maybe that there are certain types of voters that are in these areas, aren't deep in the Trump cult, that might be persuaded by this, because it is absolutely outrageous that the man who runs his whole campaign complaining to care about the forgotten man, and they all wag their fingers at us and say we're East Coast elitists, we don't care about regular people. He's robbing regular people. He's robbing them to pay for his own fancy lifestyle with the Cougars at Mar-a-Lago. That's the reality of what he's doing, and I think that should be a compelling political message.
So logically, Trump's next mark is the evangelical community by grifting a $60 Bible with a washed-up country singer.
And we've been promoting this Bible for over 3 years. So because the president has also asked the nation to pray and use that particular Bible. I mean, he could have used any Bible at all, but because it has the documents of our founding fathers, I think that makes it unique. And I do have my own signed copy from him, by the way, which I have right here. He signed one and sent it to me. I'm glad you have the Bible I sent to you, and thank you for your kind note as well to me for receiving the Bible. I'm so proud of the president for stepping forward and saying that he believes in God, he's a Christian, and this nation still should be praying for our country.
We certainly need it.
Trump's new grift is the same as the others. He owns the company, then gets paid through licensing, and it's all done through multiple shady shell companies daisy-chained together. Excuse me, money laundering. And like always, Trump released a cringy video to promote it. Now, I won't play the whole thing, but here are a few parts.
I'm proud to be partnering with my very good friend, Lee Greenwood. Who doesn't love his song, God Bless the USA?
I don't love his song.
This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents. Yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard.
Trump is fighting very hard. So hard, in fact, that he can even do it while he shanks a golf ball from his golf course. This guy spent over $151 million of taxpayer money playing 261 rounds of golf while president, and that's the best he can do, just shank it off to the right? But hey, according to him, he's the champion at his own resort.
And also the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this God Bless the USA Bible.
Whoa, talk about a deal. I mean, you could buy a King James Bible on Amazon for less than $7, but hey, this is too good to pass up. For $60, you get an imitation leather Bible, handwritten course to God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood, the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Wow.
Separation of church and state? No, thank you.
It's
What a
very
deal.
important and very important to me. I want to have a lot of people have it. You have to have it for your heart, for your soul.
And as a true Bible lover, Donald Trump says it's important to him. A man who knows the Bible front and back.
I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are.
Well,
and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal. So I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot
just
to you that you think about or cite.
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like.
I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament
guy? Probably equal.
Actually, never mind.
Many of you have never read them.
All right, I never thought I'd say this, but I actually agree with Trump. Many, if not all of his supporters have never read them.
What are the first three words of the Constitution?
In God we trust.
Okay, so that's 4.
That's liberty and happiness. Is that? No, it's we the people.
That guy said it walking past. You heard you cheated.
But also, Donald Trump doesn't know them either. I mean, he doesn't even know the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I guess you can't forget something you never knew. Trump loves the Bible so much that in 2020, he tear-gassed a crowd of peaceful protesters so he could get a photo op with it in front of St. John's Church in D.C.
Upside down.
The reporter asked, "Is that your Bible?" And then he responded, "It's a Bible," while he held it upside down.
What an idiot. Oh, what a loser.
But again, Donald Trump says it's his favorite book.
All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book.
And if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably right next to his copy of My New Order by Adolf Hitler.
Let's rewind all the way back to 1990, and Vanity Fair reported that Trump's former wife, the late Ivana Trump, had told her lawyer that Donald Trump occasionally read from a book of Hitler's collected speeches, My New Order, which he supposedly kept in a cabinet by his bed.
I don't know what else to say other than I'm not surprised. The Republican Party has no morals, and they will scrape the bottom of the barrel if it means grifting another dollar from their base.
The most serious thing he's engaged in is this effort to loft the shares of his media company, Truth Social.
I was going to say, current bankruptcy, but yes, that was the other thing that happened yesterday.
It smells terrible. It smells terrible. I personally, I don't know.
He's got a cologne now, though, so like it could.
Right,
He had cologne. I had his cologne when I went and covered his announcement at Trump Tower in
but I think
2015.
I think
it's a long-standing thing.
The others are funny. I think with the media company, I think we're going to find it's not just credulous, mean stock buyers. I think we're going to find much more serious SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission stuff going on to drive the price in this way. And so there may be yet another round of investigations from this latest attempt for him to make some serious money to recoup the fortune he inherited from his father and then dissipated.
You know, I think one thing that two things I bet Donald Trump will say if the Bible sales don't go, why aren't people buying it? You know, they asked me what to put in the Bible. That will be one claim that he makes. And I helped write this thing. Like, that's the kind of fraudulent behavior that this exhibits to me. And he's just willing to say whatever he can to seem like he's the center of the story, even when we know it's so extreme.
Well, that's all for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and feel free to follow me at I Am Gabe Sanchez. And if you'd like to contribute to the show,
All right. Back to the set, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. We're going to go around the panel here. And I'm going to say this. If you like the guy, if you support the guy, Dr. Dimmer said a couple of weeks ago, vote for him. I'm not here to change anyone's mind about anything. But I want to address a very important issue because many of us here are believers. And we often talk about charlatans, scammers, especially in the religious community. And in my opinion, this should be appalling to anyone that says they are a believer. You are now selling Bibles. Okay? You talk about 2 Corinthians. Your former pastor said you haven't been in church. You don't come to church. You hold a Bible upside down. You might like his policies. To me, I didn't see any. I really, other than giving tax breaks to the rich. And I'm not here to convince anyone who's committed to following this guy, supporting this guy. It is your right to do that. Do whatever you want. But to me, if you want to support this buffoon, then you need to take a look in the mirror. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. You Republicans out there, do you remember years ago, Donald Trump was not a Republican. He was a Democrat. Look it up, fact. And he was saying Republicans are the dumbest people in the world. Look it up. That's a fact. Okay? He's talking about humanity. This is the same guy that him and his father were sued back in the 70s for racial discrimination. Try to get an apartment in New York. Their apartment, if you were black or otherwise, they will put a C on your application so you were denied. Remember the Central Park 5? That he took out a full-page article calling for their execution. They were exonerated. He said, execute them anyway. The same guy, and I have a personal story to tell you about this, that says he never wanted a black man to count his money when they were talking about accountants and who would have. And I have my brother, Clayton, and my mom used to take successfully have excursions going up to New Jersey, to the boardwalk, and they went up to one of the Trump hotels. You have 2 buses of people, black people, that got off to enter the casino, and some of them needed to use the bathroom. Do you know they were denied? Fact. I want to start with Dr. Demery. To have this charlatan now, after the gold-plated sneakers, the Trump steaks, the Trump cologne, which I will never, it probably stinks. I will never buy it. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, the Trump board games. Okay, the cards. Okay, and the cologne, $1.75, $175. Are you serious right now? Man, look here, you can go and miss me with that one. All right, Dr. Demery,
I will be brief.
a man of faith, a man of the cloth. Anyone who is a believer should be offended by this garbage.
Well, I would say this, and if Mike wanted one, I would have gave him one. If you come to my church, I'll give you a free Bible.
Okay.
Not $59.95.
We will give you a Bible anytime you want. I'd even mail it to you if you want. Have Bibles that we will give you.
Come on.
The second thing is this. 3 things. Second thing is this. There is a definite separation of church and state. He and others are trying to incorporate the Constitution, which was not written by men of God. They were deists. They were deists. And if you want to know what a deist is, I'll tell you later. But they were not,
tell us now,
quote, what a man or a woman of God is. A deist is one who believes in the theory of the universe and universality and all of that kind of stuff. So, and then the third thing that offends me more than anything else is the fact that he is pimping God. He's pimping my Lord. And that just deeply offends me. So those 3 things, you know, one, we will send you a Bible. I'll give you a Bible for free. If you go on, like that one gentleman said, which is so true, if you go online, you can download a Bible for free.
Yep.
You got to pay your own printer ink and pay for the paper, but you can download yourself a Bible. You know, and I don't know how the rest of the panel is, but they're entitled to their opinion, which I respect. You know, there is definite separation of church and state. And if you believe that the church should be the state, if you want to be a Christian nationalist and say that the church and the state are one, you know, I just vehemently disagree with you. And we'll have some discussions about that, because anytime a religion or a faith group tries to incorporate the government to do what they want them to do and believe what they want to believe, because that is what they want you to do, is vehemently wrong. And that is against the Constitution. And then, like I said, lastly, you know, I am offended by the fact that he's pimping God, just like a lot of those other, and William will tell you this, panel, whether you know this or not, I am really hard on preachers. William will tell you that. I am hard on preachers. I am hard on preachers that are uneducated, that are stupid, who say stuff that they don't know what they're talking about, who have never done any research. All they're doing is listening to other people. Now, I can disagree with you if you have a legitimate argument or discussion. I mean, we can do that. But just to be a buffoon and make foolish statements, to me, is just utterly ridiculous. So that's all I have to say about it. I mean,
all right. Dr. Sims, 2 Corinthians. That's the whole deal, right? That's just the ball game.
Okay.
Dr. Sims, I'm sorry for interrupting, but really super quick question here. Dr. Demery, is my understanding of most religions, it's the battle of good versus evil. So is it, I truly don't know the answer to this, but I'd like your opinion, or all of you. is it so bad to have religion involved in government when religion is about good versus evil? Do you understand my question?
Well, here's the issue, Mike, and I'll try to answer quickly because the rest of the panel needs to comment.
Thank
It's
you.
about faith. It's not about religion. Religion is a set in a state of belief systems. That's what religion is. Faith and religion are completely two different things.
But
And-
is it a bad thing to think to follow the path of good versus evil? It's not a bad thing, right?
Well, but we got into this discussion before a couple of weeks ago. It's not about good versus evil. And I know you guys disagree with that, and that's okay. But it's not about good versus evil.
I'm just trying to understand. Go ahead.
That's what it's about. So I don't know how else to explain it to you other than that. It's not about good versus evil. It's about doing what's right.
Absolutely. And and the way it might, you could finish up and then we'll go. I really want Dr.
I
Sims'
cut Dr.
opinion.
Sims off. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, Mike. This is what I'm saying is there is an established decorum here, and that is there is a difference. It's a separation of church and state. What I'm having a problem with, you have so many of our elected officials right now that's trying to conjoin the two, and they're using this. And doctor, she can't wait. She can't wait to jump in. And she's using it. They're using this, and they're conjoining the two to win elections. It has nothing to do with, and many of them. Hey, Emma. Hey, Howard Harris. Hey, thank you, Howard, for tuning in. My sister Emma C. she's tuning in also. It's not about that. These guys, like Dr. Dimmer says, they are pimping God. That is truly offensive to me. That is
Mike,
truly offensive.
And Mike, let me say this real quick. Excuse me, Dr. Sims. Here's what I'm really trying to say. The Ku Klux Klan, in a sense, is a religion.
Yep.
Organization? Probably not.
Yeah, but that's not a true religion. That's evil.
No, it's a religion, Mike.
That's what they
It's
profess.
evil, though.
It's a bad religion, but it's
I said most religions are good versus evil.
I would vehemently argue, and I agree, Mike, that's the extreme, but I would vehemently argue they have the right to believe in what they want to.
They do.
That is the difference between good versus evil. And that's why I told you it's not about good versus evil. It's about you pushing your rights upon another group of people and saying, well, you have to believe this. And if you don't believe this, then you are wrong. That is the main issue between separation of church and state.
Gotcha. Let Dr. Sims in there. She's about to blow out of her chair.
She can't keep still right now. Dr. Sims, come on. Oh, this is good. This is good. This is going to be good.
Listen.
Come on.
And I'm in agreement with the statement here, and I see what is going on. Because blind leading the blind, and sometimes they will follow each other to see what will work and what has worked. And I have to say this, folks, and I'm not going to take it back. They've learned from a lot of our preachers who have pimped in the church. You said a key word, pimp, and they use propaganda. And let me read what propaganda is in case some folks don't understand the definition. Propaganda is in order to influence people's opinions and what is it? Propaganda definition, information, ideas, or rumors deliberately spread widely to help or harm a person, group, movement, institution, nation, etc. People have an agenda. They have an agenda as to the reason why they shift the way they shift. All of a sudden, everybody wants to get religious, and the world is going to hell in a handbasket. And you see all kind of demonic stuff. See, my thing is this: why aren't you addressing the travesties in the world? Because people have an agenda. They have a project. There's a purpose in what they push. And William, you know, I'm going to the church because they're doing the same thing. A lot
Absolutely,
of
they
them
are.
doing the same crap. We're talking about separating the church from the state. No, what happened is we've learned from the state. Now the state is coming over to the church because what's happening in the church, folks have got rich off the church. Come on now, by
Mm.
pimping, using God's children, and that is a travesty. And I know Dr. Demery said something while he was talking. The word of God said, and it is written, let not your good be evil spoken of. So the intentions that you're bringing stuff out in the light that you're bringing. So what he's doing, he's using the church as a ploy to gain money, to do whatever. I can't separate some of these pastors from what he's doing.
Come on.
Okay. I cannot separate them because they are doing the same exact thing. Somebody, and to show you what I'm talking about, you know, during the COVID, a lot of the churches was kind of, you know, they
Mm.
were null and void. And a lot of people were able to see exactly what these churches were about. That was God design. I don't care what anybody says. So they could open their eyes. All this money that they were asking for. And then all of a
Come on.
sudden, you know, when the COVID came, guess what? Nobody had to do it because they weren't going to church or what have you. And so the game was up, the jig was up, the propaganda was up because all this money they said they needed, guess what? They weren't asking for it. But now some of these churches
Mhm.
are opening up. Let me tell you something, launching a new program. And the first thing that came out of their mouth before the folks even got there, make sure you bring your tithes and your offerings. I'm like, wait, dude,
Mm.
you haven't even opened the doors yet. Okay. People
Isn't
haven't
that
even
something?
come yet, inviting guests and telling the guests to bring your tithes and offerings. What is the motive, folks? The motives. People have to look past the motives. I cannot. I wrote something down. He that hath no sin, let him cast the first stone. My
Come
thing
on.
is this: we can pick apart everybody, but we not look in our own wheelhouse, not look in our own house. My thing is that the world is messed up by deception. Deception
Mm.
is a strong demon, okay, that is roaring through this land, that is deceiving the minds of God's children to the point where they will not think on their own. Dr. Demery says something where he was saying about, I know he talks about, you have some dumb preachers ain't dumb as a box of rocks.
Go ahead.
And they go online and they learn these messages and they won't research and they won't study. Okay. My thing is, if you have a heart for what God has called you to do, or even in the public side, because you know some of us can run for public uh, um, positions. There's a pastor here in Hemet that ran for position. He came through great opposition because he wanted to do things right, and he was showing up those that had propaganda, that had an agenda that was other than for the good of the people. A lot of times these people walk entitlement, title positions so they can have the notoriety. They don't care about us. Okay. It's an agenda, what
Mhm.
they want to do. And my thing is I can talk about Trump. I can talk about Biden too. I can talk
Mhm.
about all of them. Okay. Because guess what? Nobody is exempt from their agendas. Nobody is exempt from propaganda. Okay. No one is,
Mm.
because one to the other believe that their belief system is perfect when they have a hidden agenda
Oh.
behind what they say and what they do. Okay, because the outcome is in the proof of the pudding. Is what you say doesn't, your mouth don't match up what your display is. Your mouth don't match up with what you pursue and what you get done. I've known this for years through politics, through some churches. They say out of their mouth one thing, and guess what? Now the thing is, the covers are being pulled off everybody, William, where God is uncovering
Mhm.
all of these folks with their deception and their lies and abusing the children of God, abusing the United States. God, I believe God is grieved at all these things that are going on. And for you to use the word
Mm.
of God, okay, as your padding, okay, for the basis of what you want to do, shame on you, because that's
Mhm.
not what the word of God's supposed to be used. The word of God is to correct, reproof, and rebuke, and to get people in line, okay, to get heaven bound. Right now, you can see the world, like I said, and I'm not judging, but the word of God judges. It's going to
Mm.
hell in a handbasket because people are doing whatever they want to do, okay, and whenever they want to do it. So their belief process is not as strong as it used to be. not as strong as it used to be because people don't know what to believe these days. And I'm gonna be honest with
Yep.
you. They don't know what to believe because they've been bamboozled so much behind propagandas and lies. I'm telling you, manipulative lies, okay? To deceive, intentionally deceive. You
That's
have,
right.
like I said, pastors up in the pulpits. You got pastors got side pieces, having babies, stealing money, getting big cars, all kind of foolishness. Not all, not Dr. Demery. He's a jewel. I'm not talking about him. I'm not talking about many others. I'm not even talking about myself because I'm about as poor as the rest of them. Okay, but my thing is this:
It's okay.
but when your heart is a heart
Wow.
of gold for something to a positive result in people's lives, people today's heart is just not there in caring for the outcome of their neighbor, of their state. It's all about a tug of war, William. And this is my stance.
Mhm.
It's a tug of war. They do not, to me, do you really believe what your mouth is talking about? Because if they did believe it, then they wouldn't do what they're doing. All them charlatans up there got secrets. I don't care what nobody say. They all got some skeletons in the closet. Some
I agree.
skeletons got
I
their hands
totally
out the
agree.
door, and they need to just complete. I really believe, and I'm like Mike. They need to go in there. We need to get some, we need to give them, most of them, some Xbox so they can get some detox. And then we need to, I'm so graphic. I already know it. Then I called the church. I said it one time, and I know it's kind of graphic, but this is just my feeling. They really need a Holy Ghost enema, okay, to get some things cleaned out of them and their theories and their thought processes, because a lot of them, stop laughing. A lot of them
My
are so
vote.
plugged up
Wait
with
a minute.
lies.
Stop. You said a Holy Ghost
Yes,
enema.
I said it. Yes, I said it. They need to get detox. They need a whole lot of
Oh my
stuff
God.
that needs to happen because this sense of thinking, and guess what? It's been fed to them. We've been, stop laughing. They've been um, down through the years, mentally brainwashed to
I'll
believe a
cut
thing
my
that
mic.
isn't.
This is funny.
Listen,
I'll cut my
they
mic.
they are being mentally brainwashed to believe a thing that isn't. That's why people are sitting there and said, "Oh, is it live or Memorex?" But we also have a lazy people that don't want to research things for themselves. And in the scriptures, you're going to find that there's truth in them. And my thing is this: if they were to really want to come clean with us, they would be honest to the public. Guess what? These people nowadays trying to make you think that they're squeaky clean. I can see a lie. I can see a lie, but we do it among ourselves. Listen, folks, and you shouldn't hand this to me. We just stop laughing. We do this among ourselves. And you know what? It's just not in the White House. It's just not in the churches.
Oh,
It's in some of our homes with our
oh my.
families. It is a travesty the way we use the manipulation on each other. And God is not pleased with it. He really isn't. We do it among each other. We can't do this. Some of us have ulterior motives on what we do and when we do it, because the outcome is benefiting you, not the person you are pimping and manipulating. Okay? It is what it is. It is what it is. So
And
we've got a lot of what?
she said a Holy Ghost enema.
Said it, and I stand on it.
I can't get over that. Oh my
They
God.
need a detox. They
She's
need a
right.
detox. They need a detox. And this is serious. I know it sounds funny,
I know it's
but
serious,
it's
but it's
serious. But the word of God, if you were to get in the word of God, it will keep you in check.
oh my
And if
God.
this nation was had a foundation upon the word of God, then why isn't it run better?
Oh
They've
my
said
God.
that for years. Then why isn't the outcome better? Okay. Stop lying. And I think,
Wow.
Dr. Denver, you said that. Stop lying on God. Stop it.
That's right.
Because
And
God's
I
gonna
think I'm sorry, Dr.
go
Sims.
ahead.
I think the problem is they don't believe what they're saying. They know what they're saying to us is false. It's like the snake oil salesman back in way back before any of us were ever born. They will sell you a bunch of stuff that they knew
Deception.
didn't work. But the
It's
whole
deception.
idea, if they put that in your head,
It's deception.
Dr. Demery, and then I want to go to Mike. Then people start. Let's go to Mike first. People start believing. And Mike, there was something that said, if you tell somebody something over and over and over and over again, they tend to believe it. And I've also heard if you see it on TV enough, if you see it in the newspaper enough,
Brainwash.
Mike, please address that.
No, you're right, and that's what they want. They want to push whatever, left side, right side, middle. I don't care what you who you belong to, but or who you address yourself to. But everyone's pushing their own agenda, and I think I've voiced my opinion many times here on Boomerang or elsewhere that I don't like any side. As I've said before.
He hates everybody.
You know what I'm about to say. Politicians are liars, cheats, thieves, and whores, and that's the Trump side. That's the Biden side. That video that you showed that went after Trump and stuff. I got videos that'll show you the same thing about the Biden crime family. So don't tell me any one of them's wearing halos. I'm the only one. I got to find my halo.
Get your halo. Because I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna push back on.
Well, hang on. Can I?
Okay, go on. Please finish my friend.
A couple of things, because I know we're running short on time, but a couple of things I want to leave all of you to think about. Dr. Demery talked about brain function with regard to abortion. If you have a loved one that is in a coma that shows no brain function, should we murder that person? That's number one. Number two, if we found on any one of our planets in our solar system, and we found a single cell amoeba or whatever, we would call it finding life on another planet. So single cell, if we found on Saturn or Jupiter or Mars, if we found a single cell, we would throw our arms in the air and say, we found life on Mars. We found life, single cell. And again, the brain function thing, are you going to just kill off somebody because they're in a coma and they don't have brain function? So that I'm just leaving that for you guys to think about. Where else is going? Oh, I really want, what, Dr. Demery during his service on Easter, I really, really liked one function. Well, I liked the whole service, by the way, Dr. Demery. But I really liked one function that he did. I have been in churches and other places where during a service, everyone stands up and they say, greet the person next to you or they're in front of you or behind you, shake hands and stuff. Dr. Demery, much to his credit, everybody in his church got up and went around and shook the hand of everyone else in that entire church. I was welcomed. I was hugged. Or shook my hand. Every single person in his church that day greeted me during the service. So I congratulate you, Dr. Demery, on doing that. I think that's a wonderful thing, and I just felt so comfortable there. So I what else do you want from me, William?
Well, I tell you what. Hey, brother. You know what I want. I want you to continue being Mike. And coming on and giving your input, because guess what? Mike and I talk often off air, and Mike will attest to this. I said, Mike, this is not a yes ma'am panel. You say what's on your mind.
I'm too old.
And often, and just like Dr. Sims, we disagree. I would disagree with Dr. Demery sometimes, folks. I don't want to, and I never have wanted to, create a network like some of these media channels where everybody agrees with everybody and they go along with one opinion.
Right.
Your opinion is welcome. What I just ask, if you can't back it up by facts, I'm going to challenge you. If I have an opinion and I cannot back it up with the facts, challenge me. I want that. And if I'm wrong, I want to be corrected. The problem with society today, Mike, Dr. Sims, Dr. Demery, people hate when you correct them when they're doggone wrong. I don't understand that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I want to disseminate the best information, the most valid information that I can. Okay, that's why I never get angry with our co-hosts because they disagree with me. I no,
You just get excited.
I love getting excited, and I love I love stirring the pot. I love and Mike, don't smile because you like doing the same thing.
Yeah, both of you.
Hey,
Two feet in the pot.
you know what?
Sorry, Mike, I got number
Stir in
love
the
for you,
pot,
but you
William.
do.
The stew is done when it's done.
No.
That's a private joke with William.
Yeah, he
Stew's
knows.
done when the stew is done.
Otherwise, we're gonna throw the pot on the floor.
Oh, yep. I've done it.
No, Lord.
I did it. It's done now. It's on the floor.
Wow.
Guys, one day Mike want to tell this story. One day he might want to do it. Emma said burnt. No, Emma.
I know, I see it.
This is before it's burnt.
No, it wasn't burnt. No, it was
Wasn't
It
burnt,
wasn't
okay.
burnt. It was smelling good. Hey, folks, it's not fair to our audience right here
Uh-oh.
for me to continue with this
William, I think
without you guys knowing.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, do you want to share your version of this story that
I can tell the story. No, I can do it.
Tell
pretty
the
quick.
story, please.
Hang on. Let me.
Oh my God!
So, listen.
I
Back
gotta
when
turn off my camera so I can wipe my eyes.
back when my wife and I were living up in Yucca Valley, and I was running the Red Baron Steakhouse up there, which is a very nice steakhouse. So it was like prime rib and king crab legs and live entertainment on Fridays and Saturdays. A beautiful place with stained glass, absolutely gorgeous restaurant. So I would only take one day off a week because I was running the place, right? So my mom and dad were wonderful cooks, and I learned from both of them. So I got some really nice bone-in chuck roast, and I'm stewing this thing. And this is back before Susie and I had kids. So I put the stew on. Well, about 30 minutes into this, my now ex-wife, she goes, "Is it done yet?" I said, "No, it's a stew. It takes time. It's going to be a couple hours, right?" So she hems and haws at me. So another 30 minutes go by. So now we're in an hour of making the stew. I'm making the stew, and I love to cook. I love to eat. I love to cook. So an hour goes by. Well, when's it going to be ready? Is it done yet? Sue, I told you it's going to be a bit. This takes time. Hour and a half goes by. She hits me up again. Isn't it done yet? No, it's not. A good stew takes some time. I got to stew the meat, then I got to do the veggies and all. Oh. So now like two and a half hours goes by, which is about right for a nice stew. Little simmer going on, 2.5 hours, this beautiful chuck roast, bone-in, wonderful flavor. She goes, "Is it done yet? Is it, I want to eat. Is it? And I looked at it, and the meat was perfect, and the veggies were done. Everything was absolutely perfect. It was ready to go. I picked the pot up off the stove, right in the middle of the kitchen floor. Boom! Threw that whole pot of stew with the veggies right in the middle of the kitchen floor. I go, "It's done now." And I left.
Oh.
And I left. I got in my car, and I went to my restaurant, and I had me some prime rib and a baked potato and some sauteed mushrooms. It was a weekend, so I did live entertainment. So I went down to the restaurant about 3 hours, something like that. Had a Heineken with my dinner, my king crab legs and prime rib and all the trimmings. I had a glorious meal. 3 hours later. So I drive back to the house. I walk in the house. Kitchen is spotless. The house is spotless. Everything is fine. Not a word is mentioned. Now, here's the rest of the story.
Oh my goodness.
Here's the rest of the story. So years later, now my son's born now. He's about 3 or 4, something like that. And we're married and just enjoying life. And this is like easily a decade later. It has to be at least 10 years. and nothing's been spoken about that incident.
No.
And I'm doing stew. I'm making a nice stew.
Oh no.
I'm making this beautiful stew. I got some bone-in chuck roast. I'm cooking it up real nice. Got all the veggies in there, and we're right in the middle of cooking this stuff.
Oh my God.
And my son comes up, and like I said, he was maybe up to my hip, maybe, and he goes, Dad, is it time to eat yet? Is it ready? Is the stew ready? My wife grabs him by his hand, yanks him out of the kitchen, drags him into the living room, goes, "It's done when it's done." It's done when it's done.
Oh Lord.
Leave your father alone. It's done when it's done.
Oh my God.
And that was a decade later, that she it's still stuck in her head. He's like, nope, done when it's done. So that's the joke I have with William.
And and I learned where he told me that story years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And Mike and I, he's also a client of mine. Okay. And I said, okay, this is one client. Be careful about the questions you ask him about when things are going to happen. Okay? It's done when it's done. Oh, wow. Hey, wow. Dr. Sims, Dr. Demery, Mike, this broadcast, I had some other things I wanted to add, but those first two things that we talked about, we don't even have time. We really don't want to have time. But I want to share this with us. Our sister Ann Wooten Taylor, her oldest son, AJ, went on his prom last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw some pictures. He was looking very, very handsome. And so she wanted, now I don't know what that's the reason why she's not here tonight, but she wanted to share with all you guys that she misses you guys. And she'll be back next week. I'm sure there's some other things that went on that had nothing to do with it. But AJ, he is the host of the Teens Talk Truth radio show, which Mike has been on before. Dr. Sims and Dr. Dimmer, I don't think you guys have been on Teens Talk Truth before. We're going to have to set that up.
I tell you.
Mike has been on there.
I saw it.
Yeah, Mike has been on there. And Mike, I want you to talk about, and when we start talking about parenting and how Ann is rearing and educating and inspiring her two young men, okay, which I am so proud of.
Impressive.
And she, to me, and Andre, they're examples of what parenting is all about. Mike?
Yes. Oh, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I had the chance to, here's the thing. I'm wondering, because I was on their show once, but they haven't invited me back yet. So no. I had a wonderful time with them. They're really intelligent young men, and I'm glad to see that I think they're syndicated now. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I knew they were supposed to be. I will check on that because AJ has a brother named Alex, and he's the comedian of the group, Dr. Sims. He's funny. And so I would love to see the three of you back on, and you and Dr. Demery and Dr. Sims. I'm going to suggest that to Ann and Mike. I'm sure you'll be back. I'm sure of that.
You know what we could do, William? My mind works in strange and mysterious ways. You know what we could do is have AJ and Alex on the Boomerang
show.
On the Boomerang?
Have them on the Boomerang.
Why not?
Why not? I
think that's a great idea. That is an excellent idea, because we want this program to expand not only to us matured adults.
Oh, look how he cleaned that up, man.
I got it. I got it.
A senior citizen.
I choose the word mature.
I want my senior citizen discount.
Mike, can you please leave well enough alone?
I want my discount.
What? Mike, leave well enough alone, please. Okay.
Well, we
Mature.
look good for being seniors, all of us. Okay, now.
Okay. Yeah. You
Start
look
the
good for
trouble.
being. You look good for being mature too. Okay. I just chose that word.
Geez, William.
Okay. He's
Dr.
that
Jim,
kind that just has to
and let me
win.
go to Dr. Jim because you know what? You and Mike, Dr. Sims, need some act right. You know,
Where's my pills?
you need to take your own supply. Dr.
Where's
Dimry.
my pills? I gotta get my pills. I need more than one. I need a couple. I need a couple pills.
Well,
I need my pills.
I'm not taking them. I'm not taking them.
Jeez.
Hey, Dr. Dimry, in closing, my friend, tell us about the Mentone Congregational Church. I hope the next time that Mike visits your church, that Dr. Sims will be there too. That would be a wonderful photo for me to have of the three of
Oh,
you guys get together.
yeah, that'd be
That would
nice.
be great. That would be great. Dr. Demery.
Please, if you are free on Sunday, you're more than welcome to come. We're a friendly church. We're a welcoming church. Service starts at 10 a.m. The Mentone congregation and of Highway 38 and Barrel Avenue. We start at 10 a.m. We don't stay long. I only for about 15, 20 minutes, and then I'm done. I don't miss my exit lane on the highway preaching. For you.
I like that.
But I will challenge you, and I will, give you something to think about. So if you're free on Sundays, you're more than welcome to come, and hopefully you can come on a Sunday where we'll feed you.
Oh man, because Dr. Dim, look, this brother cooks up a mean pot of greens. I'm telling you. Hey, Mike, did you guys have greens? Les?
No, but we had lots of donuts though. we had coffee and donuts. And you know, if I could put something in for Dr. Demery here, he's the first pastor, minister, whatever you want to label him as. He's the first one I've ever heard sit up there and say, his own failures. He was speaking like in front of his family. He goes, my family knows my failures, and I'm here talking to my family. It's a little difficult, he said, but he talked about his own failures, which you don't see a whole lot of pastors and ministers talk about their failures because they want to beat their chest and say, oh no, I'm all holy, and here's my halo.
Right.
No, Dr. Demery did not do that. So
and and that's a pastor that I can believe in, Dr. Sims. If you can admit your own wrongs and say, look, this is what I admit to, and this is what I am committed to correcting.
Right.
Because of my belief. I mean, that is strength right there, Dr. Sims. Your take, please.
My take is, and I totally agree with that. We have so many that don't want you to be transparent, but I believe that your transparency is your testimonies. That helps somebody else to know that if he came through it, guess what? God can help me.
That's right.
And we're strengthened by the testimonies of our brothers and sisters. So don't let anybody shut you down. Be transparent. And I believe that makes for good leadership. The leader is not stuck. I heard a man said, stop standing up like trees and looking deep because you're wearing a collar turned around. And that is key. Know that you're just as human as the rest of us. And God saved you from filth just like he's saving us.
That's
so my
right.
thing is this, that we can't exalt ourselves above our brother and sister. It's important. I'll tell you my whole life story. Some folks can't take it, but it is what it is. Okay. And I've been there, and it's no embarrassment. Guess what? God did it. That's the whole key. He did it. So anyway, I want to invite you to Miss Cece's Kitchen, which is aired on Thursday. And to find us, we air from the group Miss Cece's Kitchen. You just type in the browser Miss Cece's Kitchen on Facebook, and it will take you right over to the book. We are still airing live on Studio W Buzz, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on YouTube. We are overwhelmed, or I shouldn't say overwhelmed, but we have a flutter of guests that comes on the station now, and I time it. I air at different times due to their work schedules because they have something vital to say. And so God has allowed me that door to open to do that so that I can share. We are in deep waters. Yes, we are. We talk about everything. We're doing a series on relationships, and I'm talking about the loosey gooseys out in the street, and I'll say that lightly, and as well as in the churches and what have you,
Mm.
and to tell them to put some clothes on if they want a good man. Stop paying $30 on the prayer line to
No,
get
no,
a man. Because
no.
that's what you paid for. You paid $30. Okay. So
Oh God.
that's what the value you have. Stop laughing of a man.
Oh my
So
God.
just
Help her.
to really
Help
let
her,
them
Jesus.
know
Help her,
that,
Lord.
well, he's doing that. He's doing that. Help you. Thank you, Lord.
Don't worry
Anyway,
about me. Uh,
no, I'm your sister, and I'm gonna worry about you. So
You
I
need to
pray for
worry
you
about him.
often. Trust me. Okay. Trust Dr. Dimmy. I pray for this man. Okay, Lord have mercy. Help him, Lord
Somebody should.
Jesus. He needs something serious that only God can give.
oh
Hello.
my
And
God.
but come on
He
and
might.
join us. We're on at 4 p.m.
Oh my
Pacific
God.
Standard Time, 6 Central, and 7 Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Dimmy, I'm gonna get over to your church. I saw the picture. I'm gonna keep that. I keep things
Yes.
as memorabilia. I think that was so precious.
That was a
Mike,
beautiful picture.
thank you for the response that you gave, Dr. Dimmy. I know
Yeah.
Emma, me and William, we do fuss like siblings a lot.
That's
Okay.
right.
But he's always trying to bring me down to his level so we can.
No, no, I'm not.
Okay,
I
okay,
no.
okay. I'm talking now, but anyway,
Okay, excuse me.
Emma, I'm just a strong woman that can deal with this man. Okay, hallelujah, amen. But it's in love, though. It's in love, and I thank you, and I will give you your kudos, William, while you're alive. I thank you for this show, and I thank you for us able to disagree to agree, and we're just as passionate with our feelings, but nevertheless I don't believe that there's a right or wrong with us, but God has the right answer. He always has the right answer. He's like I said, there's three sides to every story, and God's got the right one, and He
Well, I
knows
want
the
to thank
motive.
you, Dr.
Yeah.
Stills,
So
for everything that you
you
do.
all right. You all right.
Yeah, I know. I already knew that.
No,
Okay.
you need
But
somebody to
also,
humble him, Lord. Oh
check her
my
out
God.
on Miss Cece's Kitchen.
I did say that.
Also on Studio W _Buzz.
Oh yes, 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 yes. Yes. I
Oh,
think.
you forgot, huh?
Oh
Okay.
Lord, see, he always. I tried to give him a compliment, but he got to start something.
That's what I do. That's my
Lord help
job.
him.
Mad Mike. Let's talk about Mad Mike while we're coast to coast. The show where you and Dr. Sims try to double team me, tag team, and it
What?
didn't work.
We're just
Oh
speaking
no,
truth.
you
That's
trying to
all.
be cute with your little Texas. You think you cute, but let me tell you something. We had you, brother. Okay, me and Mike was on it, brother. We here. Okay, we here.
Thank you, Doctor. See, the problem with William, he needs one of those spiritual enemas. He needs a spiritual enema. That's what he needs. He needs a cleansing. He needs a cleansing. So if you want to have fun with us on Thursday nights for 3 hours, we do from, at least on the West Coast, we do from 5 to 8 on the West Coast, and we do all kinds of
Oh
music.
man.
We have a great time, and
Oh.
that's one of the things William and I can agree on is music is healing, laughter is
Yes.
healing, and we try to produce both of those along with everything else, the nonsense that we do on Thursday nights. And Dr. Sims, thank you for tuning in to us, because
Oh
I know
Man.
you're there because you make comments.
Yeah, that's right.
But we have a good time
and
playing
she
all kinds of different music, and then also William puts out his texting number and my number. And if you want to hear something in particular that night, send us a request. It's all about us having together, and I referred to it as like it's William in my living room.
that,
On Coast to Coast.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Well,
I like
Cece's
that.
got her kitchen.
I
Cece's got her
do.
kitchen.
Yes.
William and I got the living room.
That's right. Oh,
And come join us in our living room. Warm your hands by the fire and ask for some requests, and come laugh with us and enjoy good music.
and Mike, do you know we've got we're picking up more and more and more responses to that broadcast because people are saying, I need a break from this chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me a break for a few hours or so, and that's what Mike and I want to provide to you guys. So check out Mad Mike and Wild Will Coast to Coast, and this starts at 5:15 p.m. on the West Coast, 8:15 on the East, 7:15 Central Times, and 6:15 Mountain Time. Dr. Sims, Dr. Demery, Mike, I thoroughly enjoyed this Boomerang broadcast tonight. Thank you, my friends. Enjoy your Sundays and come back shortly because guess what? It is Sunday Night Go. It's one of those times where we put all this other insane garbage aside and just enjoy ourselves. How about that?